Howdy, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Faab Five campaign here on the Random Rhapsody Network. I'm Matthew R. Dawson, your friendly neighborhood host and GM, and joining me around my virtual table tonight are Alyssa, Joe, Koines, and Kyle. Say hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
It's all good in the hood.
Yo.
Now, before we begin, we do have a few announcements to get through, starting with the first of our two sponsors for tonight's show, Hero Forge. Hero Forge offers fully customizable tabletop minis with dozens of fantasy species and thousands of parts to choose from. Their easy-to-use design tool lets you build your perfect miniature online using a fully 3D in-depth character creator right in your web browser. You can build yours today at HeroForge.com. Our second sponsor for tonight's show is XSplit. XSplit is a high-quality virtual webcam background remover that works with your already existing webcam, and when using this program, you can protect your privacy while you work or play remotely by blurring the background, removing it entirely, or even putting your favorite picture as the background instead, which is what most of us do. You can download the app today at xsplit.com, and if you use the coupon code RANDOM with a capital R, you can get 10% off of your purchase. You can find our referral link in the chat and show descriptions. Last but not least, this Wednesday we will be playing Curse of Strahd at 6 p.m. Central. Things are getting really interesting because the team is actually divided over kind of a long distance, and some old friends just showed up, or at least one, so should be a lot of fun. Now you can keep up to date on our schedule and everything we're doing by following us on Facebook as Random Rhapsody TV and on Twitter as @random_rhapsody. And that's going to do it for the announcements. So join us as we dive into the world of Loroupa and continue on with the adventures of the Faab Five. And we're back. So when we last left off, the Faab Five had killed a group of warriors who believed themselves to be great heroes. While digesting this information, Blood from the Stone scouted ahead and discovered that there was a small army camped outside the cave they had all arrived in. After a bit of a discussion, the team decided to exit and find out what the hell was going on. What they discovered was that a crowd of soldiers was all camped out outside the mouth of the cave. And the moment the group appeared, all of these soldiers just started cheering and hailing the squad as the foretold heroes. The group was skeptical, of course, but the arrival of a young man who looked suspiciously like Master Ohm led the team to realize that they carried the very weapons and objects that this group was looking for to recognize the prophesied heroes who would lead the people against the Dreamer. This revelation was shocking, to say the least, and before long, the group found themselves whisked away to a tent to discuss exactly what was happening. The TLDR of things is that the war against the Great Wisdom, otherwise known as the Dreamer, and his all army was not going very well for the Loroupan Fellowship. And the remnant of what remained had been searching for the prophesied heroes for quite some time, much longer than this man Adamus had expected. The only hope of this fellowship seemed to be finding this object of power that the fabled heroes carried, and use it in one massive assault to destroy the Dreamer once and for all. And so, Faab Five, with the revelation that the crystal veil carried was part of a powerful creature known as Ambar Belthor, the Ohm lookalike revealed that their army had in its possession a spell that could summon a creature of vast power, just like your earlier vision from the Dream Witness had suggested happened. A philosophical debate sprang up between Blood and Liam about the past and the present, and ultimately everyone decided that probably going to bed was the best option, and more discussion could be had the following day. You all were provided a tent for the night, and Mitchel immediately returned to his human form to create his magnificent mansion for much more reasonable accommodations. Blood, of course, decided to remain inside the tent, just in case. So, while he sits on a camp cot eating gruel, the rest of the team are just now entering a very opulent space. But before we get into all of that, a question comes to each of your minds. And that question is, are there any social or political issues that you feel extremely strong about? And Liam, since you're the one who rolled, why don't you go ahead and go first?
All right then. Well, let's see here. Political. No, don't know what that word means. Social. I think that means people. So, I like people.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Eloise, how about you?
I still don't understand money. It seems to cause more problems than it fixes them. Like people would be less of assholes to each other if they weren't greedy. And if there wasn't money, what were there to be greedy about? Also, why the fuck do you trade shiny pieces of metal for things that you actually want? Nobody wants to hold on to these shiny pieces of metal because everyone's trying to trade it for other stuff. So what the fuck is the point?
Our resident commune hippie, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, you get raised in the middle of the woods by the father that she did, and you'd have thoughts about it too.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. Blood from a Stone, how about you?
I'm still about the betterment of my people. I've learned some new things about what I previously thought was land stolen from us. It turns out it was right to be taken from us. We were doing some dumb things back then. But I'd still like to see maybe we get out of the freaking wastes. Maybe we could rejoin the elves and help strengthen that land. I don't know. But I want my people to have a better life. Living in the desert's no way to live.
Interesting. Apollyon, how about you?
Well, I believe that no intelligent humanoid deserves to be in chains, and that all slaves should be freed to rise up against their oppressors and kill them and take what is theirs, just like I did.
Yeah, that is true on multiple levels. It really is. I like it. Okay. Well, Faab Five. The space you've all stepped into is freaking gorgeous. It is beautiful. Satin is on every single wall. There are couches and lounges all over the place. There are these small invisible servants that come up about maybe chest height that you can just see a basic form of them. You can tell that they are humanoid in appearance, 2 arms, 2 legs, a head. But other than that, and some random like features, they're very very amorphous, and you can see the outline of them when they move, but they're also slightly transparent. So it's a weird thing to see, but they all come at you the moment you step foot into the mansion, and one of them is carrying a large tray full of a pitcher of wine and a bunch of glasses. There's another that's carrying beer. There's several that's carrying like meats and cheeses and breads and all sorts of little snack foods, and fresh fruit is also provided as well. And you're given this just a tasty little treat as you start walking around and exploring. Now Mitchel is already in a bathrobe. He's got a big old bun of a towel around his head. He appears much more groomed than he had been previously, and you can see a very large smile on this man's face as he walks you around, showing you the various sections of his mansion, and he has quite a few of them. There's a gigantic bathroom that's just a huge tub with fountains everywhere, putting in different scented soaps. There is a huge library filled with all sorts of books on magic and things. Of course, as an enchanter and a crafter, he has a gigantic workshop in this space as well, that he shows you with some pride. Now, he doesn't have a whole lot to work with right this second because, he had nothing but the clothes on his back and a few odds and ends. But he tells you that if he can't get to things and get some supplies, he wouldn't mind trying to actually make something again. Something other than, for the cult of the dreamer.
What kind of supplies does he need?
Depends on what he wants to make. And he tells you, he has a few ideas on some protective things, rings and that sort. But right now, he just kind of wants to make something.
Well, I've got a big giant potion cookbook. I've got an adamantine dagger that I'm not using. He can play with it if he wants. I've also got some booze left if anybody wants to partake.
Booze is
it makes me see things.
Booze is definitely provided in this space. Mitchel does tell
but
you that...
Does his booze make you see things, though?
That is
probably
true.
Not.
Yeah, probably not. So you do have that. That's
If I fill up on mansion booze and I step outside the mansion, am I no longer inebriated?
that's an interesting question. Mitchell tells you that the substance that you're filling yourself with is real enough. It's created by magic through magic, but once you consume it, it does remain in your body.
Okay.
It's made by bodyguards for bodyguards.
Each one of you are provided your own bedroom, and if you just take a few moments and describe what type of room you want, Mitchell tells you that with just a little bit of concentration, the room can be exactly what you want it to be. That's the great thing about his magnificent mansion. It's the type of thing that, since it's pure magic, it can be whatever he wants it to be. The only limitation is that, other than like food and drink, and like basic things, articles of clothing and that sort of thing, it only exists in the space. Now, simple things that can be created just through magic can step outside, but things like major supplies, too complicated for the spell.
All right. Liam has a request of one of his servants. He pulls it over and he goes, "Could you make me some very potent catnip? What's it? What's the catnip stuff? Yeah, get me some of that."
The servant goes wandering off, and probably about 5-10 minutes later, they come up bearing a tray with a strange looking herb that's kind of light green that's been ground up and placed in a little bowl.
Great. So I'm going to take that bowl to the front door of the mansion and open it up, making sure to keep the bowl on the inside of the mansion, obviously, because it's been explained to me. Blood, are you sure you don't want to come in? It's actually pretty nice in here. I think you might like it. I'll try and waft the kitty litter out towards him.
First of all,
Catnip.
it's catnip.
Yeah.
He's one. I said he was going to be leaving to go scout the camp, so I don't even know if he's in there. And two, the catnip. He's not a fucking kitty cat. They've evolved since those days.
Are you telling
Constitution
Kyle
saving
or
throw
are you
might show
telling
us.
Liam? Because this is Liam's plan.
Oh, I'm telling you. Like I said, I don't even know if I'm still dead. I said I was going to be going out and scouting the camp.
All right. Well, tell me, are you still there? We'll start at the beginning.
Oh, he didn't start with me.
Well, I'm asking. You can be there. You cannot be there. It's totally up
Sure,
to you.
he's there, but he's going to be like, I don't want. He goes, I'll be in later. He's like, we got to leave somebody out here at all times.
I will remind you that Vale did go out there to the two guards who are guarding the tent and told them that everybody is going into a mansion and it's a magical space, and to leave you all alone until the next day.
But also, these are people we just showed up, and they're like, oh, hey, we had dreams about you from 15,000 years in the future. I don't trust that. Bloodster shit ain't gonna trust that.
All right. Well,
Fair enough.
Liam's gonna go to
sus.
plan B then.
Let's see what's
He'll
going his people.
throw the catnip back because I don't think he's actually a cat. Let me try this.
Well, Blood, give me a concentration check.
I gotta turn off the.
I don't know. Based on that 5, that catnip smells pretty damn enticing.
You know what?
Right
So
now.
do roses, but he ain't gonna fucking fall for it.
Pretty
All
damn
right.
enticing, though.
All right. So before Liam closes the door, he pulls out his book. And he flips through a couple pages, and he shouts loud enough so that Blood can hear him. Hey, Eloise, check this out. I found a chapter that's mostly pictures.
Woo!
And then he closes the door and goes back in because he knows Blood was looking forward to Liam opening that book.
Oh, that one. Yeah, he doesn't want to actually be there when you guys figure out the book. It's not that weird.
Isn't he, though?
No, he's not. That's Apollyon's thing. If Apollyon wants to watch, Apollyon can watch.
Oh yeah, you can come in. I bet there's a theater for that sort of thing in this mansion.
Well, in fact, there actually is.
God damn you, Mitchell.
Mitchel just says with a very large grin. Now, if you come over here to this room, and he leads you down the hallway to just one particular room, the door is all very nondescript, but you open it up, and there's this huge screen on one end, and he explains how it's animated by illusion magic, and you can just describe what you want to see.
Magic
and
lantern.
The magic will project it onto the screen.
Of course he'd be.
Wow, a moving picture. I've never heard of such a thing.
I'm sure they would have some equivalent. They'd probably have equivalent to like a magic lantern show
Probably.
in Loroupa, I would think.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
absolutely.
Or shadow casting shows.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they have magic. They can create minor illusions, which create figures and stuff. They've got greater illusion spells. So yeah, there's definitely things like shows and stuff like that are put on for people. So it's not like too uncommon, but not everybody can do that. Mitchel. Well,
of course
Mitchel can.
It's Mitchel.
Absolutely.
Yeah, his token doesn't make me think he's any less of a creep looking like that, and then having this fucking sex dungeon with a fucking porn screen, essentially.
Man, is there anyone in this game that Blood hasn't judged?
Look at his fucking. You know what? Matt has perfectly judged him for us. Don't
I
give
mean,
me.
I've described him many times as like a balding man with hair on the sides that he kind of does a comb over. He's got the elaborate goatee. He always dresses opulently. He's kind of paunchy in the gut. You know,
like a Saudi
pulls
royal.
It off.
He pulls it off fabulously.
I imagine like George Costanza wearing the Henry XVIII gown, get up and stuff like that.
No, it's just George with the cured
What
meat
is this,
in the kitchen.
velvet?
Oh, he is
Velveteen.
He has definitely draped himself in velvet.
Yes.
But other than that, like the mansion is yours for the evening. Is there anything you all want to particularly want to do or discuss before heading off to bed?
Well, Blood wants to go out into the camp, but find the other tabaxi he saw around, at least.
Liam's happy to go out into the camp if Mitchel decides specifics of what he needs to gather for something.
Okay.
Did he say he needed supplies?
Well,
You're not in the mansion. You
No.
wouldn't know.
He did mention that he's kind of interested in making something, get the creative juices flowing. He tells you that if you can track down some gold or platinum, a gemstone of some type, and a few various other magical components, some diamond dust, some this, that, and the other. I'm not going to make a huge list.
Well, I've got gold, platinum, and diamond. I don't have any dust right now, but I can make some dust.
Well, I can absolutely make some dust too with my workshop here. I don't mind if you want to make something that only takes about 24 hours. You're welcome to use my facility.
Well, I need to sleep though.
Well, there is that too.
Wait, how long
I'm
does
not
it take
certain
me
we
to
know
save?
exactly how much time we have.
And
What?
Or has that been discussed?
as far as time, no. You're just
Okay.
sent to the
I
tent
didn't think so.
and told to go to bed, and they'll talk to you
Yeah.
more about it tomorrow.
Gotcha. Okay.
Didn't they say when they sent the heroes in though that was like their last ditch effort?
It was. They're hoping that sending a group of heroes in there would facilitate whatever needed to happen to be the heroes. They weren't sure what would happen. They just knew that five would enter and five would return, and those that returned would be bearing the weapons and implements of the heroes. That's how they would be recognized. And your group,
And there was.
yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was finished with
I was gonna
your
say
group.
the portal that we came through disappeared, right?
Yes.
There wasn't anything else in that cavern. Like there wasn't another room or something we didn't go to.
Just those braziers.
Yeah, just there are the braziers. There was the sculpture of the tree and the 5 pillars with stone bowls on it that had water. That was really it.
Right. Okay. But we're in the same location, right? We're still inside of the mountain or whatever. We're not we're outside of the mountain, I guess.
Yeah,
But
you're outside of the cave.
yeah,
It
we're
was
still in the general area, same general area.
Yeah, you're still in the same area. You're just outside where you teleported in, or where you appeared. So it wasn't really teleportation, but yeah, you get my meaning.
Yeah, we stood still. We moved through time.
Yeah.
Mitchell's an enchanter, though, right? So he's not super familiar with potion making.
No, he's not.
Yeah. Okay.
He like understands the basics of it, but his thing is more crafting. Well, while the rest of the group is kind of settling in, like when Mitchell says he wants to start making something, he does explain he's not wanting to make something tonight. He's going to go to bed soon, but this is just he wants to start working on things again as soon as possible.
Gotcha.
Is more what he was trying to say.
Sure. Now that makes sense. Get a note of the inventory and get some ideas rolling around. Sure.
Exactly. But he will eventually leave you all to your own devices inside the mansion and head off to bed himself. More likely to, get a nice deep tissue massage and then go to bed. But sure. So, while that's going on, Blood, I know you said you wanted to go and do some skulking around.
Oh yeah, he's gonna scout the camp, kind of move around, see what's going on, see if he can find those tabaxi. That at least I don't know what he wants to do, but he wants to try and find. He saw some of his people, so he wants to go look for them.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's just a tent.
Oh yeah.
The front entrance is guarded by 2 people. Chances are, if you go out that way, they're gonna question you or
Oh, what's going on?
Yeah, exactly. So, what's your plan?
Well, I mean, I guess I'm assuming the sides could be lifted up a little bit, at least for him to kind of like peek out and see underneath, to see around, just to give a. Well, I mean, we walked up to this tent, so I guess we would have had a good general vibe of what's around it immediately.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, he would kind of like peek out a couple of the sides first, just to see what he could see, and just pick his best route to get out, and then maneuver out.
Okay. So why don't you give me a perception check first off?
It's an 18.
Okay, with an 18, you lift up the edge of your tent and kind of peek down under it and get yourself a good visual of what's around you. There are quite a few tents around you towards the back. Some of them are small 1 and 2 person ones. Some of them are much larger, such as yours. Looking around, there are people moving about still. It's later in the evening, but it's not like super late. And so there are plenty of people moving back and forth between the tents, going about the daily lives of an army camp. You watch for a little bit and kind of judge, like, okay, those are sentries, they're moving around this point and this point. Those people are just kind of hanging out there, and you're waiting for that opportune moment. And with an 18, you do see that at one point, there's enough people that have moved away to one side. The other side, people are not looking in the direction of the tent, and you feel like this is your best moment to scoot under and hurry your way across. So give me a stealth check next.
And I guess he will, at some point before he heads out, he will kind of disguise himself, looking like a random person there, and change his outfit to kind of match similar stuff that he sees. But let me get that stealth. Oh shit! Double 13s, 28.
Nice. And then what spell are you casting?
It disguise self, so he can change himself to not look like one of the heroes that everyone in fucking camp watched come out of this tunnel. You know what? They didn't see him come out as a tabaxi, did they?
No, they didn't.
You know what? Fuck it. He's gonna go out looking like himself. Because nobody saw him come out.
Okay.
But he is gonna change his glamored studded leather to kind of more mirror kind of the the clothing of the day.
Okay. Yeah, you've seen.
You should look like 2.
Yeah, he's putting that bow away too. So he's putting that in the bag. And I would like to think while he was waiting, I reattuned to the hand crossbow.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just to not have the hey, it's the legendary weapon that's going to save everybody's lives.
Sure. Absolutely. So yeah, you had an hour or more that you could have done that. That's no problem. So with your 28, you waited for that perfect moment, and then you just go running, dipping down low to get behind one of the other nearby tents, towards the back where you're crouched down and hidden. As a Gloomstalker, you're trying to keep to the shadows as much as possible, I assume, because that's where you're invisible. And it's not hard to make your way from behind tent to tent and just wait for those moments to get through. Now you do have to maintain staying away from like bright lights and things that, like the torches or fire pits, which are dotted around the camp. But it's not difficult to do, and with your 28 stealth, you're able to maintain hiding and keeping to the shadows. Next, I would like you to make an investigation check. This is going to be you searching for those tabaxi.
23.
23. It takes you about 10 minutes moving about the camp before you first catch sight of a couple tabaxi. There's 2 of them that are sitting near a campfire, along with like half a dozen other individuals. They all are dipping ladle into a big cauldron that's on a fire, obviously eating the evening meal.
Is there, I guess, he'll wait a bit to see if they separate it all? Because he doesn't, I have a feeling that he might get yelled at or he might get in trouble for being out here when they said, hey, why don't you go in that fucking tent until we can figure things out? And also he's worried that they may not speak. They're tabaxi. might be a little different from his spoken language from his homeland. So yeah, he's gonna try to wait for at least for them, one or both of them, to separate from the group if they do.
Okay. You end up waiting probably about 30 minutes or so, crouched down behind a tent, watching as they eat. And you have a pretty good passive perception, I believe, don't you?
Yeah, a 22.
Yeah, a 22 passive perception. So you are able to hear the group talking, even though you're a small distance away. And sure enough, they are speaking a language that you yourself aren't familiar with. You've heard the people talking, and they all seem to be using the same version of Common that you've been hearing. It's just slightly off, slightly different than your language. You catch a word here and there that you think is the same, but for the most part, it's fairly different. And for those 30 minutes, you kind of hear them all talking back and forth. Like I said, there's about a half a dozen of them in total, and they're all just chatting back and forth, yelling some stuff from one side of the fire to the other, and laughing every so often when somebody says something particularly funny. But eventually, the two tabaxi get up. They go over and start, talking to each person individually before separating and starting walking away to the south, away from the fire. What do you do?
He's gonna follow the tabaxi.
Okay. Well, give me another stealth check, but you are at advantage because of,
Oh, it's
Gloomstalker
just,
and all that.
and then the cloak gives him
Yeah.
advantage anyway. Yeah, so he's sneaky. Oh, 28 again.
28. They do not notice at all. The pair walk through the camp. They stop at a tent. One of the two, which, as you've been watching them for a little while, you realize it's a male and a female. The male sticks his head in. They both have very similar markings. They're gray tabbies. They have the tiger stripes in black, but the rest of the fur is gray. And you saw their faces and that sort of thing. Both of them have yellow eyes. Anyway, the male, he sticks his head into the tent, says something, gets some reply, and then the two continue on for another 5 or so minutes until they reach one of the far outside tents of the camp at the far distant edge.
Okay.
The two of them go over to the tent, walk in, and disappear inside.
He'll kind of creep up alongside it just to start listening out for what he hears inside the tent. Is he going to hear that comment again, or is he going to hear something a little more familiar, hopefully, to him?
Well, make
I guess
another perception.
Perception. Okay. $22.
You do hear them change language and speak a little bit more. It's very short, back and forth, and then you hear a lot of moving things around. Like it sounds like somebody's pulling something across the ground for a moment, and then you hear a couple thumps as though people are like sat down. The conversation does change, and you do hear something that sounds very similar to native tabaxi. Lots of differences. They seem to have a lot more of a guttural kind of ending to a lot of what they're saying. It's a little bit more rough, and I guess the best way I would describe it is like that low rumble of a cat's when they're kind of growling at each other. It's kind of like that low guttural sound. That's kind of like the sound they're making as they're speaking. Definitely using a different language. You're guessing probably an ancient form of tabaxi.
You picking any of it up? It's like, is it similar to like with the common stuff, right?
It's
probably
kind of similar to the like you're picking up more words to it's more similar than the common is.
Alright.
It's still slightly different in like some words you're getting and you're like, okay, I can see where that is the same. Some of it's
So
a
it'd be
little
like
bit different.
similar to like an American teenager being dropped in like Scotland or Ireland with those very thick accents, still
Yeah.
speaking English, but using a lot of different terminology and
Yes.
very heavily accented words. I mean, he can only hear the two, or does he hear others inside? Or
He just hears the two.
I think, I mean, he would kind of go to the front of the tent, and just like in Tabaxi announces like, "Hello, I'm a friend. May I enter?"
After a moment, you hear the two of them speak to one another. Something along the lines of that. Who's that? Well, go see. And the flaps lifted open, and you see the male. Um, he no longer is wearing armor. Seems he has taken that off. He has his hand behind his back, and he's looking
He's
out.
got a weapon. Oh,
Yeah,
he's got a weapon. Yeah.
he's looking out the side of the tent and looks at you and says, "Who are you?"
I mean, he would kind of have his hands up. He's like, "I am unarmed. My name is Blood from a Stone." He's like, "You may recognize me as this," and then he'll kind of do that little spell, and he will be the human that he was when he walked outside of the tomb. Just to show him, he's like, "Don't be alarmed. I didn't know if they trusted our kind." And then he'll go back to being a tabaxi. He'll drop the spell.
And give me a persuasion check.
Oof, it's only a 10.
The tabaxi he watches the this whole thing that you did, and he's definitely looking at you kind of dubiously, and he says, "Okay, again, what do you want?"
I only came to seek out those of my kind. Where I'm from, things are very different from us. And what we believe happened where you are from, I was worried our kind was not accepted. It's like, I just wanted to see people of my kind. It's been a while.
It's been a while. The tabaxi kind of glances back at the other inside, you assume. You see him shrug a little bit. And he says, "Very well. Come in." He lets you, he kind of steps back and holds the tent open a little bit for you.
As he walks by, he'd be like, "You don't need your weapon. I am no threat."
You were one of the ones that came out of the cave.
I was. I am. I guess you know.
You say where you come from. Things are very different for Tabaxi. What did you mean?
Well, you see, my people, our people, believe that I guess it's the witness, or is it the wisdom? We believe the wisdom, or we call him the dreamer, brought us here as slaves. I did not know if we were still seen as such, or if the things had come to pass that we believe our people fought with the people of this world.
the Great Wisdom has many, many slaves. Our people were among those the Great Wisdom brought to this land as workforce. Yes, as slaves.
Well,
We are not the only ones.
I didn't think so, but that at least ticks one box that our people have believed for a very long time. And it lets me know that we were at least right about something.
They ask you to tell them more about the world and what life is like for tabaxis there.
I mean, he won't go into extreme specifics just because, I mean, listening to like things at Valus, and he's like, he doesn't want to like fuck these people's world up any more than they already have, and they are going to. But he would explain, it's like, we live, I guess it's roughly the same area, correct? It's just not a desert yet.
So that's complicated. The land mass changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
Like the map that you'd seen.
The cataclysm, yeah.
Yeah, the map that you had seen in the tent with the army leaders was very, very, very different than the one you're familiar with. But in the center of the entire continent was the Dreaming Tree. Now, in your time, the Umbra Spire is on the southern portion of the continent, and it's in that big desert. So it's definitely changed quite a bit.
Tabaxi are in the shadow of that, so I guess he would try and describe at least of that. He's like, where I'm from, the terrain is very different. The base of the tree still exists, but it's now a mountain. No longer, I guess he would, I don't know how if you say a flesh and blood tree, but like a, wood and lively tree. It's no longer that. And the Tabaxi live in the desert. I don't know if they'd have the word for like reservations or settlements.
Yes,
but he'd be like, our people are kept. We're told where we can live. Still. But it's not all bad.
The female tells you that what you're describing from her perspective sounds like paradise. The place that they had come from, the realm that they lived in, was very, very much like the deserts that you described to them. They tell you that the place
he's eating up every word.
Yeah, the place the dreamer took them from was this land of pure desert under a dark sun, and they lived in very similar conditions. But when the dreamer, or the Great Wisdom as they call him, brought them over, they found themselves in this odd, strange world that they were forced to do labor and work their entire lives in. They tell you stories about Tabaxi in this time period, how many of them are held captive in the great city, what they call it. And they describe that there's this massive city around the Dreaming Tree, with high walls and much of their people live there. Those that have escaped slavery and found themselves in this army, in the Fellowship, specifically to try to get all of their people out. They tell you stories of the pair of them living in that city, working and that sort of thing. You find out that they're actually siblings. They lived together, worked in started off working in just, typical workhouses, eventually learning they eventually learned a trade and became soldiers and were forced to be in the army for the Great Wisdom, but eventually escaped and managed to come and join the army, which is where you find them today.
Did he get their names?
The
Did they
name,
tell him their names?
if you, yeah,
It's bad.
I'm sure they would tell you their names. One is, what's that?
I was to say Tabaxi name generator. I'm sure you got it open.
I can usually find them fairly quick. Yes.
I have to say, if you
But
said the name that I
anyway,
came up with, I'd shit myself.
It's not Fires in the Sky. No, one is the lady is Garden of Flowers, and the male is End of Winter.
I mean, yeah, I guess depending on how long they're willing to keep up with him, he would just sit there and, pick their brains about Tabaxi life there, tell them more about, where he's from, the cities that he grew up in, and just kind of and also start asking them is like, how long has the fighting been going on? He wants to get their perspective and whatever info they would give him.
Okay. Well, I don't want to go it too much farther.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, this would just be,
Yeah.
if team spending more time with them and then having to skulk back off. And
Yeah. But what they do tell you that I will go into is that the war against the Great Wisdom has been going on for a good 30 years. It started off as just a rebellion. It grew, but attrition has taken its toll, and the army is kind of on their last legs. You're told that some in the army consider that what they've been doing is probably a fool's errand. That they're fighting for their freedoms just to die, but they also tell you that fighting and dying is a lot better than living under the Great Wisdom's rule. Here, at least, they're free to make their own choices.
he doesn't want to really give them false hope, because the things that happened in the past, I mean, obviously things have changed, and so they may not come to pass, but he would at least tell them, he's like, where I'm from, the war is won. We know that. We don't know exactly the specifics. Just like, and he would mention, I guess the Ohm lookalike, it was Adamus. He would say, it's like, the visions he had kind of paint a picture that we have of what happened. That 5 great heroes led this world in a victory over the wisdom. I'm not gonna claim that is us, but the coincidences of what he saw and the things that we have seen, whatever happens, we're here by your side. No matter what, yeah. We're here to the end.
Garden tells you that, well, obviously, your arrival here is the sign we are waiting for, that the war will come to an end, that we will win and be victorious. And they're very much looking forward to the final assault. They both tell you that
pressure.
They will be there and be standing by your sides, ready to fight the fight and destroy the Great Wisdom once and for all. They're very much looking forward to seeing what your group can do.
Well, we hope we don't disappoint. And he'll tell me, he goes, I'm honored to fight by your side. He's like, don't get me wrong, I love my friends, but they aren't my people. And he's like, if I have to die by anybody's side, they're as good as any, but you two will do even better. And then he would just kind of, before he leaves, he's like, does the name, and it's Fire from the Mountain is the one I came with. He goes, does the name Fire from the Mountain mean anything to either of you?
The two of them look to one another and kind of shrug their shoulders.
I didn't think so.
He says, it sounds like a typical Tabaxi name.
Well, many of our people believed he was one of the 5 that helped. We had no proof. And somehow I'm here. But I am not Fire from the Mountain, but he's like, that's a whole nother conversation. But I just thought I'd ask. And then he goes, I gotta get back before anybody notices I'm gone. But he
does tell you, well, you are here, so perhaps you are fire in the fire on the mountain or whatever.
Fire from the Mountain. Yeah, that's going to kind of shake blood to his core even more. He's been thinking that this entire time. He's like, how did I become my own hero? That's not possible. And it's this whole back and time. Talking to them has eased some of his fears, but it's also given him quite a few more, just learning that this is real. He's not hallucinating. He's not insane. They are in the past. And he still has no idea how that happened. Because that's not his thing. So he's a little more freaked out, but he got that homegrown feeling that, put a little bit of steel in his spine.
Speaking of homegrown, they towards the end of the meeting, one of them pull out a big old bag of catnip and begin rolling it like a joint.
I fucking hate you so much. You know what? He's not going to give Liam the satisfaction, but yeah, he'll toke up with him. He ain't giving Liam any of that satisfaction. Liam, he goes, if you tell the human that I came with about this, deal's off, and I'm not helping you against the wisdom, all right? He can never know.
They have no context to that whatsoever.
He's just gonna be like, don't tell the human I came with that we did this.
Perfect.
Okay.
Please.
Nope.
It's a personal thing between me and him. Just he'll never let me live it down. So we'll keep this between us.
Love it.
And then he'll make his way back.
Okay. You make your way back to your tent.
Does he enter the mansion?
Please.
You still don't enter the mansion once you get there?
He'd come in and he would say something, 25, to at least let he goes, hey, it's like I scouted things out. I have a lay of what the camp looks like. And he's like, I was able to corroborate a lot of what we've been told.
Hey, Liam, give me a perception check with regards to your sense of smell.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
Smell check.
Yeah, but that could be there. That could be
my mom caught me every single time I smoked, and I thought she didn't know. She caught me every single time. Let's see how this plays out.
Just so you know.
Ooh,
because
advantage.
You know what?
First roll.
It's got to be a different strain that he doesn't know the smell of.
Yeah, I think that's sound only.
But for circumstances, I'm granting it. But still.
Either way, it's 22. Not bad.
22 is pretty good. And Blood from a Stone, when he comes in, he definitely has kind of like a burnt herb scent about him. You make some friends out there.
I spent quite a bit of time around many people.
Right.
Multiple campfires. Just check it with the locals.
There are some people, when I meet them, they have these traditions. Were there any specific traditions when you met these people?
Not that I know of that I could guarantee are their traditions. I mean, we're not from this time.
No,
Things are different.
So sometimes it's a drinking type thing, you know. Sometimes it's maybe a smoking type thing, you know.
Yeah, he's like, I mean, there were people doing, kind of both of those things. It seems like it was a jovial time since we arrived. And he's just gonna totally throw up. That shouldn't be a disadvantage, but oh my god, that was all right. So the 22, because I was like, that wasn't a. It dropped from a fucking 18 to a 2. So that's a 22. So he's like, yeah, there was a lot of stuff going
Well, as
on.
it turns out,
I got to know the
insight
locals.
is
I know you
pretty
got a 10.
decent.
I think yours is just under mine.
Not a good roll though.
So I mean, I spent time amongst them. Yes. Yeah.
Visually, is he squinty-eyed or bloodshot at all? I can't hear you, Matt.
I imagine that his eyes are at least a little dilated. No doubt about
Yeah,
that.
it's got to think of what's the catnip over weed gonna do to her.
Yeah, well, I mean, catnip for cats, it does kind of make their eyes go dilated a little bit and just makes them really, really affectionate.
He ain't fucking the human. All right,
Just
so
like
that's not gonna happen.
I'm gonna go up to Eloise because I can tell that Blood is wary of me, and I'll be like, I think Blood might be a little bit more receptive to your hugs than normal. Maybe give it a shot.
Okay.
Is she gonna hug him?
Oh yeah.
She is.
Oh, like flying body tackle.
She's
Maybe
probably
like-
still dripping wet from the hot tub, dude.
Oh, thank you, God. You went with the hot tub. And not with the previous thing you said about the book. He's just going to kind of like his arms will be there and he's like patting her on the back and he's just because I guess, did he hear you say that? He's just like, the fuck
Oh
is
no,
going
I
on?
whispered it to her. You didn't hear that.
He's just looking, he's like, yeah, hey, Eloise. I didn't go anywhere.
The hot tub's amazing. You're missing out. And I'm just gonna start dragging him.
Hey, somebody go in the tent. He's like, somebody stay out there. I don't 100% trust these people. We need to have someone out there at all times.
I'm sure it's fine. Here, have a drink.
Great. Now you just, if he's like, he goes, what is it?
Well, our Australian friend out there is still like outside, right?
Who?
Veil, our Australian friend.
No, Veil.
No, he came out in a bathrobe.
Yeah, no, he's been in bed long ago.
Okay.
Or
The
meditating.
guy
or
who
whatever.
doesn't sleep, right?
Yeah, resting, meditating, whatever.
He's like, put the big guy out there. I want someone outside at all times, please.
Liam will put on a bathrobe, go outside, the bathrobe will disappear, he'll go back inside, get dressed, and then he'll station himself outside to put Blood's nerves at a little bit more ease.
Not to mention, if something happens and they come in, they're not going to see anybody there, and somebody needs to be there because they don't know where the fucking magic door is.
Yeah,
Do
and
you think
Liam
the guy
gave in
who
to your demands,
Yeah.
and now he's holding watch. You can relax.
All right, anyway, go ahead, Eloise.
Do you think the man who looks like All Might wanted to drink too? Oh,
Sure.
we gotta go get him. Let's go invite him. And I start walking towards the
Alright.
exit.
I think, we're not supposed to leave the tent. I wasn't supposed to, but you are most definitely going to be noticed. He's like, how about we talk to him in the morning? And maybe after dinner tomorrow night, or depending on what we might go to war tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe we could
Exactly.
sell.
So now is the time to let all the tension out so that way we can get some good sleep and be fresh for whatever happens?
I don't know. They told us to come in here. I don't know if we're really welcome out there right now. We might cause a panic or mass hysteria.
That seems like an extreme reaction.
Well, they asked us to come in here. I mean, we are the magical heroes they've been waiting for. I mean, to placate her and to distract her, he's going to start telling her about Garden of Flowers and End of Winter and about what the things they were telling him. Just to try and distract her, kind of like, a shiny object. He's going to try and get her attention. Tell him about the great city and things like that. What he learned.
What great city?
Well, it's what they call it. It's the wisdom or the dreamer. Has this large, large city of his followers and his slaves.
Oh.
And many of my people are still captive there.
Does
we haven't.
Mythica exist yet? Or not Il Mythica? Does the is it Il Mythica? Which one is it?
No, that would not exist. Yeah, that wouldn't exist yet. That happens after they come out.
Oh no, so Cedar Lock doesn't exist yet?
No destination we've ever been to.
That was that tree you made friends with, right?
Yeah, he was super awesome.
You know what? I don't know how old that tree was. Maybe it's possible his...
Didn't they say they were like thousands of years old or something?
Maybe his, in tree terms, great-great-great-grandfather somewhere in this world.
Yeah, I guarantee, just from GM perspective, you're currently 15,000 years in the past. No tree exists that you.
Yeah, he doesn't. Because it's like, well, maybe a tree here will drop
dreaming tree.
Yeah, dreaming tree.
Yeah, it's like maybe one of these trees will drop an acorn that will grow, and will drop an acorn that will one day become your friend. Do trees have long memories? Do they pass on stories? Maybe you can find one and tell them all about him. I think at this point he knows he has her, and he took her off. He took her off on this tangent of, oh hey, maybe we can find a tree tomorrow, and talk to him about your friend.
Do you think I can use one of my sending scrolls to talk to my dad? I mean, the sending spell can go across planes of existence. Who says it can't go through time?
I don't know.
But then what if it does go through time, but then it gives him the message when he's first born? He won't understand.
He's regretting it right now. He's like, Eloise, all I can do is I can make myself look different, and I can track things really, really well. That's the best of what I can do magically. I
yank him into the hot tub.
I was like, well, I'd like to think he's not. He's like, I could have gotten into some. All right, he's just in his full gear.
Yeah, just full gear in the hot tub. There's no roll for this. It's just happening.
He's like, it'll dry off later, I suppose.
Now, while that's all been going on, Apollyon, what have you been up to in the mansion?
I've also been in the hot tub.
So you're probably in there right now as well, just watching this whole...
Oh yeah, I got cucumbers on my eyes. I'm just like chilling. Yeah, come on in, guys.
Heck yeah.
Do you want a shoulder rub? I could give you a shoulder rub.
Apollyon's got a choice of essential oils to rub on himself.
I'm sure there's a bunch of invisible servants just pampering Apollyon.
Yeah.
It's a mediocre shoulder rub.
Mani-pedi,
Yeah. Absolutely.
Are you rolling for shoulder rub strength?
Yep, it's a mediocre shoulder rub.
Wow.
I'm too distracted.
One of the invisible servants just comes over and pushes you out of the way, Eloise, and starts doing it instead.
Hey!
I'll be like, wow, that was great, Eloise.
What's my insight?
Yeah, my passive insights. He's full of shit. But he leaves that to himself. Your insight's probably pretty good.
Yeah, what is your insight?
Well, because
Uh,
if your passive perception is a 20 just under mine, you've got to have pretty good insight.
it's only +5.
Oh, well, it's still, I
So
mean,
15. So that's still making it 15, your passive insight. So you would know that Apollion's full of shit.
Yeah, but he's also doing it to be nice, so
That's true. That is
I let it
true.
slide.
Now, do any of you
Heard
get
that.
into anything else, or want to discuss anything else before you head off to bed?
I mean, no, he would have loved to just be giving them just a rundown on what he learned, at least about his own people. And he'd be like, a big guy, I didn't even think to ask. Or, I guess, did we see Dragonborn in the crowd when we came out?
You did not see any.
Okay. It's
Yeah,
like,
you
I
would have
didn't
not seen
think.
Dragon.
Yeah, I bet there's no Dragonborn and no Minotaurs.
It's like, I didn't ask them about your people. And he looks to both of you. If any of your people might have been in what they call the big city.
Oh, I'm sure there are druids everywhere. It's fine.
I meant what you are, not what you became. Dragonborn.
Oh, I don't know anything about Dragonborn. Why would I care?
You are Apollyon. They don't know. I didn't think to ask anything about your people.
Oh, if there's any out there, they'll stand out. I'll see them.
Didn't you tell us a story that the Zahiem made your people?
He didn't create us. He just imbued me with magic.
I thought he imbued some. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I didn't see. They didn't tell me anything of. I mean, I was kind of more interested in hearing about my own people, but they didn't mention anything.
So does that mean, Apollyon, that you've met him before?
The
Yeah.
Zahiem?
Oh shit!
The Zaim, the dragon?
Yeah.
Yeah, he told us about that.
Well, sort of.
Yeah, that was part of my backstory.
Yeah.
Well, because he would have told us about the interaction wherever the Zahiem took him.
Yeah, the Zaim did reveal that he had brought Minotaur over to Loroupa in the distant past and had them kind of separated for his own use. And he guided and influenced their evolution through the ages a little bit. But
yeah, I just hadn't realized that Apollyon himself
create Minotaurs from magic, though, right?
No, he didn't create them from magic. He brought them over. So chances are there are Minotaur out there somewhere, but
nobody's seen them.
Nobody's seen them. Yeah.
I just hadn't realized that Apollyon had met him prior to that.
It was when he won the tournament. It's when he met him.
Yeah, that's when he met him at the tournament.
Oh, okay. I had just asked if he had met him before that.
No. Sorry.
Well,
you know what?
Yeah, I knew of him from my backstory, from being
knew of him,
Minotaur.
but hadn't met him.
You knew who the Zaim was. The Zaim owned Apollyon as a gladiator.
Yeah.
Meeting him as much as he wins a tournament and his master says, "Hey, you did a great job," and gives him a boon for the night.
Yeah, that sort of thing. I think it's
Okay.
Anyway, I think actually this is a good place to take a break.
Oh my god, I need to pee so bad. Especially after all the laughing.
Yeah, definitely. So we will be back in about 10 minutes, folks. And when we return, our team will have had their long rest and we'll find out what's next in store for them. So stay tuned. Howdy, y'all. We are back, and when we last left off, the Faab Five was just getting a long rest. So make sure, everybody, you hit the long rest on your character sheet.
You got it.
You awaken and have a wonderful, wonderful meal inside Mitchel's mansion. Mitchel, it seems, spent a lot of the evening working, building himself a new spell book because, he didn't have his anymore. And so he at least had to transcribe the spells that he does know and that he had prepared down so he can redo them and hold on to them. So he's not done by any stretch of the imagination. He's planning on just sticking it out inside the mansion and working on it for the rest of the day, he tells you. The spell's got a while left on it, and his plan is to just recast it when he needs to. So he tells you he's going to stay in the tent unless y'all actually need him. This whole heroes thing is not really his, his cup of tea. So unless you absolutely need him or have any questions for him, he's going to stay in the mansion and work on his building himself a spell book. But for the rest of you, after your breakfast, you have those the guards walk into the tent once again. I know, Liam, you said that you were going to be staying out there to watch for anybody who comes in. I'm sure you and Blood have swapped shifts and things like that. But somebody at least is out there when the guards walk in, and they announce that the leadership is requesting all of your presence. Now, the thing that surprises you is they're speaking in your language.
I was about to say. Oh! So right now then? Okay.
Yes, they're waiting in the command tent. They asked me to bring you as soon as you're all ready.
Not that this is a bad thing, it's a tremendously amazing thing, but why am I able to understand you and no one else?
Master Aetherweaver, she gave me this scroll to read off of, and told me that it would allow me to understand you and you understand me. So when I got up this morning, I read the scroll like she told me to, and I came in to speak to you.
That's a nifty trick there. Let me go inside the invisible door here, and I'll be right back. So Liam heads on inside. Hey guys, we got called for. We got a meeting. That's it. Meeting time.
Okay. Well, everyone just kind of sits there and stares at you for a minute, but
Well, Blood's like, hey, you showed him the doorway, didn't you?
Well, I closed it and then I grabbed some bacon off of Blood's plate, but I told him I'd be back.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it!
I didn't know this was supposed to be a secret. Is it a secret doorway?
Well, I didn't figure we want to give them all of our secrets.
I mean, it's not like they can get in without an invitation, right? Right.
They got somebody who's powerful enough they could just get rid of it, he said.
Well, then we should
matter.
hurry up.
It's we're supposed to trust these people, so let's go on out.
That's the paranoid. I like it.
Yeah, you all step out through the portal into the real world. You can see the doors just fine. Those big double amber golden looking doors. The guard is kind of standing there watching, and he claps a little bit and says, "That was incredible. They mentioned something about you having a special place. I didn't. Wow, that was just amazing. You heroes have power unlike anything I've ever seen before. We're so glad to have you here with us, and leading the army and that sort of thing." And he.
Oh yeah, you can get down on bended knee anytime. We're practically gods around this joint.
He's gonna slap your hand. It's like, God.
You see the kid like he's a human. He's looks maybe 17, and you actually see him kind of starting to kneel a little bit.
No, don't stop that. No,
but he said he
don't.
Said I should.
Yeah, don't believe almost anything this man tells you. It's like you don't have to do that.
Oh, relax. Please. They love us.
We're setting some very permanent precedents here. I think we should just start to walk.
Probably.
As we start to walk, I grab that kid like by his collar, rim close, like, "Hey, buddy, this god here. Don't worry about the rest of them. I'll be your personal god, buddy. Why don't you just bring me some nice pomegranates and honey and bread to the meeting tent, okay? I'm gonna need a snack. I'm gonna try to load up, get a workout in."
Okay. I guess I can do that. Make me a persuasion check with advantage, Apollyon.
So
okay.
Bad. Yeah, that's right, kitten.
Boom.
Samwise, hush.
He's like, I'm not sure if I'm. Okay, I guess I can do that for you, Mr. Hero, sir.
Liam's gonna lean over to Blood.
Excellent.
Liam's gonna lean over to Blood. That's the first time he didn't shout his own name. That's pretty cool.
But I mean, he's also said he's gonna be the kid's personal god.
Right.
Is that any different than shouting Golden Boi?
No, one bad advice for another's not really a good trade.
So now I can see this kid going back to his tent later that night and painting a mural of just Apollyon.
Probably.
Or if they have tattoos, the version of a tattoo he'd get back there, get like Apollyon like on his lower back.
How do you think I got so popular in Rowena? Been setting this in motion for years.
Boy.
In the weeks to come, you see a bunch of kids with tattooed dragon wings on their back and a big old ring in their sternum or whatever. Yeah,
The nose.
yeah, the nose ring.
Cardboard horns.
Oh my god.
Helmets with horns on it.
Yeah.
Cardboard. It's gonna be actual wood.
I'm sorry. Did I take you out of it?
Nah, it's okay.
But he does lead you all out of your tent and through the camp. And as you do, and as you're walking through the tent or through the camp, people, as they're going about their business, you know, because I mean it is an army camp. There's always stuff to be done. Everybody's stopping and either applauding or cheering or calling out to you all. You can't really understand what they're saying too much, but there's definitely some hero worship for you all as you're making your way through the camp. Now, when you arrive at the tent, the kid opens the tent flap for you all and ushers you all inside before running off, presumably to do what Apollyon had asked him to do. And you see in the tent there are the same 4 individuals that were there the last time. The elf knight in her full armor, the general of this army, Levados was her name. You see the dwarf in black leather, working on something in a book in the back corner, who also looks up and greets you all as you approach. You see Barada Aether Weaver, the gnome woman who is the archwizard of the army here, and last but not least, you see Adamus, the golden-skinned, bald-headed man who looks very suspiciously like Master Ohm in the future. As you all approach, Lavados, the elf, nods her head and welcomes all of you. Thank you, heroes. Thank you for coming to us. Please come join us. We are about to begin our meeting. And you realized in that moment that she's speaking your common as well. In fact, all of them do. Adamus, he already spoke your language. He spoke in a language you all were able to understand, but the rest of them didn't at first. But questioning everybody, you are able to learn that the answer is very simple. Barada had spent most of her night making a bunch of understand languages scrolls, and so she actually prepared, and you're all able to communicate much easier this time around.
What does Mitchel do? Does he remain back in the mansion?
Yeah,
he recasted.
Okay.
Yeah, he told you that he's going to be staying in his mansion and work on his spell book that he has to rebuild.
That's right.
And that's what he's working on right now.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Adamus is the first one to speak, and he says, "Everyone, come around the table. Please be seated. Thank you, heroes, for joining us once again. As you're no doubt aware, what you told us last night has, a lot of ramifications that we had to discuss and consider. The end result is that what you told us about your timeline, I suppose I should say, the time you came from, there's a lot to consider. We've discussed things, and while we appreciate what you've told us, we once again need to reiterate that conversation can't leave this room. We have taken what you've said into account. Barada spent last night, other than making these scrolls for everybody, or at least for a few, she spent her night sending messages and speaking with those that we were able to. You all possess the item that we were looking for. The gem that you carry, Veil. We wish to attempt what we have been wanting to attempt for some time. A direct assault on the Great Tree and the Great City. We believe with the item that you possess, we could do this. You could get a strike team into the tree itself, using the creature summoned with that object as a distraction. You said that things would happen in the future. And we take that your warning very, very seriously. But we still think it's our best and, well, only option to defeat the Great Wisdom. Now, your presence here and you telling us this information, we can't assume one way or the other whether or not this changes the future or if it's what was always meant to be. To me personally, I see time as less of a river and more as a constant loop. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen, regardless of any other changes that is made. But we can also plan and prepare and do what we can to use that knowledge that you've given us. While we plan our assault and ready our armies to attack the great city, the rest of our people will begin getting as many people as possible to caverns underground. You said that's where people spent a long period of time. Well, it's our responsibility to make sure as many people as possible are able to do that. We would like you five to lead the strike force into the Dreaming Tree. Each of you bear the items that we have seen in our vision, my vision, that the heroes would carry. So we have to make the assumption that this is exactly as that prophecy meant. But we can't just assume you're all willing to go along with our plan. Even if you're not, we at the very least request that you give up the Gem of Power. Even if you're unwilling to lead the strike force, that in and of itself may give us the edge we need. But we must ask you, of course, would you be willing to do this? Would you be willing to lead the strike force into the great city, into the doors of the Dreaming Tree itself?
Didn't come here for nothing.
I mean, I don't like slavery, and we may never get back to when we're from, so I may never see my dad again anyway. So might as well make the world safer and possible for him to, exist.
I still don't like it, but I'll go along with your plan. I'll follow these four just about anywhere. These are my family now.
We've come this far. Just pull a few more of those dreamer freaks in front of my trident. I'll run them through.
I mean, to be clear, okay? Step 1, make a plan. Step 2, start executing plan. Step 3 is always plan goes to shit, followed by step 4, improvise. So...
Eloise, I wouldn't change that a bit. That sounds like a great plan. Let's do that.
As long as nobody feels too precious about the plan.
Well,
as long as everyone's aware that the plan doesn't usually work out to plan.
Well, I think that's exactly what we need to do is change the plan. Because we are not, we told you we're not the only ones that came through this portal. Two of our enemy, who were trying to bring the Dreamer back in our time, brought us here. They escaped the mountain. We don't know where they went. We have to assume they have made their way to the Great Wisdom and his city.
Fucking
That's
Abier.
what they've been saying the whole time. Is they
So-
want him.
So what we know what happened, at least we have a vague idea what happened in our past. An assault was made on the tree with this giant beast. I still think that needs to be part of it, but I think we need to figure out some kind of a new gameplay, because you gotta assume that they have told the Wisdom and his armies, or at least his top advisors, what they know of history. So I think we need to make some adjustments based off of what we know.
I'm pretty sure they told me they don't know much about history.
Well, we, as people from our time, have an idea of how things happen, and with his vision is very similar, kind of the one we had.
Right, but everything we knew was fuzzy.
Also, it really depends on what line of thinking or belief that you hold, whether what is history to us is fated to happen, or if we end up, or is us being here going to change it, therefore
Exactly.
making any plan
But
kind of pointless. Because what
Asmodeus
knowledge
already
we
told us
have
it's a
of
circle.
history,
Asmodeus,
if us being here changes it, then it's not going to happen that way.
did you say Asmodeus?
Asmodeus.
Asmodeus?
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like, I think we're talking about the wrong person. But Miss Eloise, what I'm saying is, we know vaguely what happened in the past. We know that worked. We don't know, I mean, I guess based off of what their plan is, their plan kind of seems exactly what happened in the past.
Yeah,
Just
but
out of
I
curiosity.
know, but I'm just saying that we have to, at least they have said everything they know of us, everything, I mean, in Abia, I mean, that
I spit on the ground when you say her name.
that bard may be a tricky son of a bitch, and maybe he doesn't know his history from his asshole. I don't know, but she most certainly does. She knows more than all five of us combined of what has happened in the Loroupan past.
We do
So I'm just
actually
saying,
have some information in that regard. You told us to alert our scouts.
yeah. Please tell me they're
Lavanos.
dead.
The elf stands up and she says, "Unfortunately, we discovered 2 members of our scouts killed in the northwest, at the edge of their scouting range. Reanimation proved difficult.
Yeah, she's good at that.
We cast a spell to speak with the dead, and they told us that the 2 individuals you had described appeared not far from them. The one with the loot struck immediately, and that was the last that they saw. We believe that you are correct, that if they are not with the Great Wisdom now, no doubt they will be before long, and we are considering that as part of this plan.
Because I know us coming here, Eloise, changes things, and it may have a great effect, it may have no effect. But we can't
It might not change things.
I know.
It may have always been us, therefore...
But we can't ignore the knowledge they
So
brought
we
with
already won!
But what we did before may not work again.
But if we were always meant to come here, that means that the way that we got here was always meant to happen, which means that they also always ended up here.
Oh, don't go in the circles. I've been in the circles. The circles are bad. I'll
This is making my head hurt.
I
I'll
fully
address the
understand.
elf lady in the room. You're clearly talented with the magic. Do you have anything in particular that could stop someone from teleporting away? She's a slippery one, and we can take her. I know we can. But she always just teleports away as soon as we get to her.
Counterspelling is usually the best way to stop someone from casting that type of spell.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, you also have to be fairly close to them to
Yeah.
do so.
Right. Alright. So, part of plan 1, get Veil close to her as soon as possible. Yeah?
Okay. So
I'd love to
if
get near her.
so if we're
We all would.
if we're supposed to be the strike team for against the whatever, what do we know about this entity specifically? Is it the tree itself? Is it
The great
inside
the great
the tree?
wisdom is not the tree itself. It resides within the dream dimension. The great wisdom appears not often, but has been seen in the past. It always takes the form of a small child with dark black hair and no features on the face whatsoever. Instead, a single great eye occupies almost the entirety of its face. But other than that one distinctive feature, it appears as nothing more than a small child. But its voice sounds like thunder.
Well, that's not creepy at all, that description.
How exactly are we supposed to attack something that can enslave an entire race of people at a whim?
Adamus speaks up at that. The key to my visions of the legendary heroes are the weapons that they themselves carry.
I have a different question. Is the wisdom dreamer, whatever, is it here now, or do we have to figure out a way to
Is it in
planeswalk?
the room?
No, just like on this plane. Or
It's in the
do we
city.
have to figure out a way to plane walk into the dreaming wherever it is?
No, the great wisdom rarely steps out onto this plane itself since the war. Most of the time, it is in the dream dimension itself. The only way to enter the dream dimension is to go through the great doors. She pulls out this drawing, and she sets it down in front of you and explains, this is what the great tree looks like at a distance. You can see on the picture that there is a big city around a huge trunk that occupies most of the center of the picture. However, above the city, you can see that stairs rise up from the city itself towards the tree, built onto the root structure that's surrounding it. And at the top of the staircase, there is a large double door that, judging based on like the scale of this map, these double doors are probably like 70, 80 feet tall. The woman, the elfin general, Lavados, she says to you, these doors always remain open, at least a crack, to allow the followers of the Great Wisdom, his servants, to go in and out of the dimension at will. The dream dimension is complicated, to say the least.
So the simplest and easiest way to fix this would be to somehow destroy or disenchant the doors / portal, doorway, whatever, to the dream dimension, so that way that entity can't access us anymore, right?
The doors themselves are an expression of the tree and the dimension. So long as the great wisdom, what you call the dreamer, resides in the dream realm itself, it can open a new door in the tree. The tree itself is its gateway. The doors you see are just a manifestation, an aesthetic.
And if we destroy the tree?
You know,
our Adamus says destroying the tree itself would block Loroupa off from every other realm in the multiverse.
Well, I mean, that kind of does happen.
While the dreamer as you call him, must be powerful, defeating him would be the only way to truly end the war. Destroying the tree might end it for a brief period, but as long as the dreamer exists, he'll want his realm back.
I lean over to Blood. There's no tree in our time, right?
There's what's left of a tree. That's what the Umbral Spy is.
Right.
Seems like we have to destroy it then.
Yeah. Think back to our vision, guys, after we fought the Witness. The giant creature that we think is that beast that the jewel will call forth attacked the tree, opened the portal, and we disappeared inside. Or, I'm sorry, the 5 heroes disappeared inside. I'm getting ahead of myself. I think that's what's got to happen, because I can't push those doors open. I'm thinking we're going to need that creature to push those doors open.
Well, they just said that the doors are always open a crack.
They're open a crack.
Yeah, but that's big enough for someone to pass through, because they just said that.
Well, then we need.
The servants goes through.
We need to get up there.
Yeah,
we can windwalk.
A tree this size is actually pretty easy to fit through.
We're gonna need to get to that. I don't think we're going home after this, people.
Well, it might be a one-way trip, but have you ever done anything worth more in your life?
No, I suppose not. I did promise my brother I'd see him
I can
again.
get us there. We all know that. That's not a problem.
Barada,
Well, maybe wherever we're going, we'll have plenty of trees.
Barada speaks up when you mention the possibility of going home, or the lack of possibility. She says, now, you know about the dream dimension, right? It's more than just a plane of existence. All existence comes into contact with the dreaming realm. If there's any chance of you making it back to your own time, that would be the place to do it.
Well,
you can't do it. So you wouldn't be able to do so while the great wisdom controlled the dream realm, which it absolutely does. But if you just defeat the dreamer, it is possible to use the Dream Realm,
Oh.
or at least in theory, use it to get back to your own time.
I would hope so, because just like you said, defeating him will cut off your world from all the realms. That's exactly what's happened to ours. So I don't know. We're kind of dealing with a lot of unknowns. Gonna have to play this one. Kind of play this one pretty fast and loose, don't you think?
Omamame is right. We can get home once we kill the dreamer.
Is he getting tired of Liam just butchering the fuck out of his name over and over again?
I'm not even sure what the hell he said, so...
I think he said Omamame this time. And last time it was Asmodeus.
Are you talking to me?
Oh, yeah, I was referencing you. You know what? Maybe shorten the name. It's just a little long, you know?
My name is Adamus. It's not that long.
Amadeus, yes!
Adamus.
I'm sorry.
He has a very incongruent look on his face right now.
Aren't you happy we showed up now?
I don't know what to think whatsoever.
I know you don't. Nobody does. Yeah. What do you think you need to do this ritual? What do you need from us besides the jewel?
Besides the jewel, the only other thing we would need from your group is a bit of patience. The preparation for the spell takes a little bit of time. In fact, it'll take about 2 weeks once we get started to get everything together and complete to start the ritual. The ritual itself will take 24 hours to cast.
Okay.
Thinking of that, what are the odds that you think you can get us into that city?
Do we want to bother going through the city and possibly having to fight our way to the tree?
Well, I'm just curious. I mean, as much information we can gather as possible would be great. Plus, maybe we could find Golden Tongue and Abia. If we could find them, maybe we could take care of a problem.
I mean, I wish we could evacuate the innocents out of that city to keep them from...
That is also another... we could kind of start sowing seeds amongst the slaves there.
Well, our time window is going to be very, very brief for that since we'll be fighting the Dreamer right away.
They just said we need 2 weeks.
Right, but the beast is going to be, like, destroying the... I think she means the free peoples inside the other realms?
No, inside the city. The big city. Not the other realms, yeah. No, we're not...
Oh, okay. I thought she was expanding her like... I care about everyone!
The dwarf spymaster, who's been kind of silent up until this time, he speaks up. Now, that's actually a very interesting question. Getting you into the city is possible. We of course have contacts throughout the city. We have places where a small group of people could possibly get in. It would be very difficult, of course, but you seem like the resourceful type.
I know that we have issues with Golden Tongue and Abir, but if we destroy the Dreamer, then it's moot. Like, there's no... What's the point of just exhausting possible resources fighting them if we don't have to?
it's not just getting our hands on them. It's also freeing up potential allies within the city. Not to mention, who knows what's going to happen? Because the city surrounds the tree, right? Isn't that
Yeah,
what
the
it?
city encircles the
Yeah.
tree.
Think about what's going to happen when that creature starts attacking the tree. What's it going to be stepping on?
I know.
So we need. If we can get in and start. So also, who sows chaos better than this group of people right here? Do you remember? I mean, what happened? Oh god, what was the town that we did that to? Was that
Revancia?
yeah, as I said, it was Revancia. This is like, you remember with the horses and setting the fire going through the streets, caused a little chaos.
Oh, I've caused so much chaos. It doesn't
I
even
know.
really ring on the bell.
Throwing
Trust
gold into the crowd.
I know.
Starving people.
Oh yeah.
This time,
You need
I'm not.
a little chaos.
Yeah.
We got it.
Guys, this time, I'm not going to yell at you for doing it. This time, I need that chaos. Now, yeah, I'll be smart about it, but I want you to sow some chaos.
I feel like you're really getting me now, Blood.
It's like, buddy, I've been getting you for a long time. You were the brother I always needed in the time I needed you most. But don't worry, I get you perfectly fine. I just wish you wouldn't shout your damn name every 5 seconds. Oh.
I'm gonna turn to the spy master, the dwarf. Corwild. Is there a symbol that could mean like evacuate essentially, or run away or something, just as something that I could write in the sky that could warn the people there to get out before the spell to summon whatever creature takes effect?
A symbol itself, no. However, what you're saying is giving me a bit of an idea. Lavados, what do you think? Lavados, the elf general, she's been thinking quite a bit as you all start talking about this, and she says, if we were able to get a small group into the city, that would give us some time to warn the contacts that we have. If we could sabotage a few of the outer gates, and then spread the word to evacuate the moment it seems necessary, the possibility of getting as many people out would increase. The biggest issue would be those gates have to open to let the people out.
Do those gates need to open quietly, or could it be nice and loud?
Adamus speaks up. Well, if we time things just right, it could be very, very loud. I think
I like loud.
I think I get what Corwild is saying here. If your group were to infiltrate the city while we're preparing the spell, you warn the right people, they spread the word. When the creature shows up, the gates open. That would allow our armies to enter along with the monster and try to evacuate as many people as we possibly can while the monster does its thing. That would cause enough of a distraction for the strike force to get up to the doors of the Dreaming Tree and to get inside.
I believe Veil still has a sample of the World Killer's stomach acid, right?
I have no idea.
I
Possibly.
I don't think he's
We-
used it for anything.
There were a shitload of mason, like I don't know if they were mason jars or what they were. A bunch of empty ones, and then a bunch of stuff that was filled.
Yeah, I
I
think
think-
we used some empty potion bottles for that or
Yeah,
something
I
like
think
that.
I mean, I'll have to look at the list,
I'm
but I
just-
remember I would have kept some of that.
I mean, just out of character, but Liam would say this, like, we could use the stomach acid to weaken the hinges of these gate doors or the lock frame or however the door's set up. Just saying that quickly because it could be hard without Veil here.
Yeah, Veil can just use Mage Hand to dump it out.
Yeah, fake.
Well, I mean, me and Blood are both pretty sneaky. We could get up next to
Yeah.
that gate.
And if you distributed it to their people on the inside, if you have quite a bit of it, so they could be hitting multiple doors at once.
I have the vials. I have 20 vials of the stomach acid.
Yeah,
Oh, that's perfect. We have
It's
a
in the
use for
haversack
it.
of
All
clothing.
right.
Yeah. It's in my haversack of colding.
I guess Blood will look at the spy master and do some thieves. I guess he would just kind of make a couple of thieves can't gestures. Does the guy recognize those? Being the spy master, is thieves can't similar?
Oh yeah.
Is
You find that it also helps that everybody's
The
under the
comprehend languages.
comprehend languages. So yes, that he can understand that.
So, I mean, it's like he goes, "Do you understand this, or is these actually? Is there an other? Let me just ask this: Is there a thieves guild inside the city, of any kind? Bad people.
There are thieves, certainly, but not organized in any sort of guild.
Well, they will be. Don't worry about that. But you know what? We could still use them because if there are enough of them, they can be our little chaos makers.
Oh my god, are you unionizing the thieves right now?
That would be awesome. If like all of a sudden they're not the Cerulean Syndicate, like later on they're like the blood. They call themselves like the Blood, Empire, some shit like that. That'd be great. Man,
Fire from the mountain, create
Go
the
with
first
bloody hands.
guild.
Go with that in future. If you want, if you want to change, I'm not going to be upset.
The bloody hands. There you go.
Ooh, I like that. But it's like he goes, if you could get me in the city and get me to some of those people, I could get your chaos going. We'll get your door open.
Well,
I
certainly.
mean,
we
I have-
we have many contacts who are thieves in the city.
between me and Vale, we have multiple ways of getting people either close or even within the city undetected. It's just figuring out how and when.
Well, I think we need to get in as soon as possible to at least make contact and start setting up this plan while they prepare to cast this spell or this ritual. So we need to, as soon as leave tomorrow, whenever, get us inside as quickly as possible so we can start making these inroads to get this stuff done.
How does the dreamer exert control over the people in the city?
Through multiple means. Some are simple, loyal, and willing to do his bidding. He has vast magical powers. He can communicate directly into individuals' minds and speak to them in this fashion, even while he is in the dream dimension. He can contact his supplicants in this fashion. Some are controlled through magic. Others, like I said, are simply willing.
What's the I don't know, the kind of daily reality of life like inside the city? Are we going to be able to hide effectively?
Each of you are unknowns, but you're also heavily armed. Those who travel the cities typically are not. While weapons aren't outright illegal, only those who serve in a warlike capacity carry them.
I can hide most of mine.
Stealth would obviously be your best benefit while moving through the city. Each of you are unknowns, but you do tend to stick out. And he turns and points directly at Apollyon, the 7-foot-tall minotaur with dragon wings.
Yeah, buddy. I think we'll.
Oh,
have...
you know what? Yeah, I can put my trident in the bag of holding while we're walking around. Yeah, no problem.
I don't think that's. How about somebody changes what you look like?
Oh yeah,
Maybe.
a little smoke and mirrors. Apollyon's down for a little bit of drama now and then. You know what I mean?
Do any of you have
God.
the ability to cast Seeming?
No, I don't think that's in my.
It would Veil'd probably be the only one. I would.
Is Blood under his glamour still, or is he?
No, he's look, because they all know he's a tabaxi.
Well, this group, it would be the first time you revealed yourself to them.
No, he changed that. He showed himself as a tabaxi, after going in initially as a human, because they called him out. They said that he was under a glamour.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And so then he showed who he was.
Adamus looks over to Barada and says, Barada, can you supply them with scrolls of Seeming? Barada says, that'll be no difficult task. I can have a few people whip up some tonight. If you're wanting to get into the city soon, may I recommend at least waiting 24 hours to allow us to supply you with anything you might need.
Oh. That's, we can wait. Just as soon as we get in, the better to start. He's going to look to the spy master. He goes, we have some things we got to get done before that ritual can be cast. So, well, we can wait a day, 2 days, whatever, but get in as soon as possible.
We will need at least 2 weeks to prepare everything for the spell, like I said. So you'll at least have that time to do whatever you need to do. 24 hours, I feel like, is not going to be too difficult of a time frame for you to wait.
All right, workout marathon. Let's pump some iron, boys. Gotta get ready for battle.
Sounds like we have a plan here. We will provide you with what equipment we can, and then we will teleport you close to the great city. This will also give us enough time to reach out to our contacts and prepare them for your arrival. You will likely have to make your way into the city. Well, I'm not sure exactly how they'll get you in, but we will find out that information over this next day. Knowing that you're going to be spending those 2 weeks moving throughout the city and speaking to people, doing what you need to do to prepare for this, keep in mind that once you leave us, we are going to be functioning under the assumption that we are going to continue with the plan. We will prepare for the ritual. We will set it off on a day that we all agree on. But the sooner, the better. 2 weeks is more than enough time to prepare the people in the city for an evacuation. But also keep in mind, more people worship the Great Wisdom than are against him. I would roughly estimate 85% of the city is loyal to him. Those that remain do so for our own purposes, for our own intelligence network. And others just choose to remain for their own reasons. But the vast majority of people will be worshippers of the Great Wisdom. Now, once the creature appears and attacks the city, we have no doubt that even those who are loyal to the Dreamer will flee if the gates are open. So that must be your main priority, getting enough people into position. That way, when the armies do appear and the spell goes off, you can all act, open up the doors, and then start heading to the doorway to the Dream Realm. So, I suggest you take some time and consider now what you want to do, how you want to prepare, what you'll need for this endeavor. We'll try to get what healing potions we can together in this time.
If there's anyone who's good at making healing potions, I can help.
Assistance would certainly be appreciated. We do have a few herbalists in one of our hideouts, which I think is where we will teleport you all to get prepared. The army needs a little bit of time to pack things up here before it can leave, but we can at least get you started and situated between now and then. So apart from health potions and as many scrolls of seeming as we can muster, is there anything else your group will need?
Well, I mean, other than Apollyon, who else would need seeming?
I'll take some haste potions also.
Would I be able to get my hands on perhaps a cart of very high potency liquor? For flammable explosive purposes.
You could get barrels of alcohol together and bring them over to you, I suppose.
They just need to be high proof enough to be flammable.
We could also get you a supply of alchemist fire if you would want something like that.
That would be helpful, yes.
Barada has pulled out a piece of paper and a quill and has written down so far haste potions, scrolls of seeming, which seeming doesn't last like a super long time, so they're going to try to make up as many as possible. That way, whenever Apollyon needs them, he'll have a small supply.
Okay, so there are other Dragonborns here somewhere, if they're not saying I need one. Ha ha ha.
Dragonborns? Yes, there are indeed Dragonborn on Loroupa. Most of them serve the dragons.
Do they have tails?
Most of them.
Did you hear that?
Are they evil?
They're with the dragons. Didn't they say the dragons are on their side?
I guess there are good and evil dragons. That's not too specific, is it?
There are dragons on both sides, yes.
Good, I got 6 arrows that I don't want to go to waste.
So do the Dragonborn just claim loyalty to color affiliation, I assume?
There are both the chromatics and the metallic dragons on Loroupa. The metallics are on the freedom fighters' side, while the chromatic are on the side of the great wisdom. Most dragons like having the dreaming tree there, because they can come in and out, through the dimensions. But the metallic dragons are of good alignment and don't like the idea of anybody being slavery. So that's why they fight on the side of the freedom fighters. So other than your some haste potions, some healing potions, and some scrolls of seeming, is there anything else your group would and alchemist fire and high proof liquor? Is there anything else your group would want for the infiltration?
No, the only thing I can think of is we got a crossbow when we were fighting our way through the tree in the mountain that had a special bowstring on it. I don't think we ever had anybody look at it. Would somebody have looked at it in this time? Because it was a string like my blazing bowstring, but it was a different type.
It was. Let me.
I'm almost wondering if it's the one I gave up in Morag, or if it's a new one. Because I had acid. Was the one I sold.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm looking.
It's electric. Boogie, woogie, woogie.
No, it wasn't
sweet.
electric.
I guess. Cause I thought what he said, maybe he said it was blue, so I was thinking maybe coal, but
Problem is, I gotta look through the freaking character.
we can find it later. We can find it later. I was just curious. I mean, that would be the only thing Blood would. But if he potentially already has that,
Well, I mean, you have it, and so you would have.
Yeah.
Mitchel could certainly have checked it for you.
maybe that trader made it. I mean, what? Why do you smile there, Kyle? What?
It's every time you mention him, it's followed by a very specific adjective.
Oh, here it
No,
is.
I
Yeah, I
got-
found it. It is a freezing bowstring.
Ah, sweet. I'll get the stats from you later. But he would.
It's the same thing as the
Oh, the
other
blazing
one.
Two,
Yeah.
2d6. Okay.
Oh no, it is not 2d6.
Oh,
This one is 1d8.
maybe. Okay, because that's what my acid one was 1d8. So I figured, okay. All right,
Yeah,
no, I
that's what this
will.
one was.
I'll make up a block for it.
Okay. Well, you are then eventually, once you give them the lists of things that you want, you are escorted out of the tent into an area nearby where a couple wizards are working on a transportation circle for you all. You are teleported to another facility. This one you're teleported to is inside of a stone building that you're informed is called the High Rise. You're brought to a window and shown outward, and you discover that where you are is a floating castle high in the sky. It's explained that there are several flying castles in Loroupa. This one, their group maintain control over. You've discovered that you're actually over the freaking ocean. And when you go looking for the Dreaming Tree, it's barely on the horizon. You're miles and miles and miles out to sea.
Nice.
You take some time exploring this castle to find a very literal working facility of basic. Dang it! Sorry. You find yourselves in a very real facility dedicated to the army and the war effort. It's very much military. There's nothing but soldiers there. There's people, blacksmiths and herbalists and alchemists, all working together to make things for the army to fight the Dreamer. You're introduced to a lot of people. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of it, but at the end of that time period, 24 hours, your group is given a good list of supplies that you had asked for. Liam, you're provided 2 very large kegs of what amounts to 151.
Nice.
You're also given a dozen vials of alchemist fire.
A dozen vials. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. In total, you're provided with 4 potions of speed. Haste potions.
Oh.
You are given 8 supreme healing potions.
Nice.
You are given 10 greater healing potions and 10 moderate healing potions.
Ooh, I don't suppose it's too late to ask for some arrows. Something they would probably have on hand. I'm like out of every type of arrow I had.
I have crossbow bolts I can give you.
I'm not gonna work on a longbow.
No,
Nope.
unfortunately. But yes, you can get any basic supply that you would need for pretty much nothing.
Cool.
So you can get 2 dozen arrows with no problem. You can they will provide you with 20 plus 1 arrows.
Nice.
They wish they could provide more, but they don't have a ton.
Was there anything else we were asking for that I can put on the list to later transfer to the bag?
Oh, how many scrolls of seeming for Apollyon?
Well, it would be fair.
And possibly me.
Well, the seeming it can do. Can
8 hours. It can do it can do as many people as are within 30 feet of the scroll, the spell, and it holds up to 8 hours.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So what they provide to you is 6 scrolls of seeming, but then they also give you a stone of seeming. The stone of seeming will only work once a day, but it recharges at dawn. And then the 6 scrolls of seeming is there in case you have to use it more than once a day.
How long is it? What's the duration?
8 hours.
Oh, see. That seems fine to me.
You are also provided another sending stone. This one, they tell you the fellowship leadership will has the other one, and they'll be able to use that to contact you once a day. If you have any information or any questions that you need asked, you can use it as well. Now, is there anything else you can think of that you would want to ask for before? Because you have basically you had 24 hours.
I mean, there's many diamonds, but I mean, I'm okay on diamonds.
Yeah, they don't really have any diamonds that
Yeah.
they're able to provide to you.
No, I'm
Just all your expensive shit.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, I forgot to ask. Are there any cloud giants in these cloud castles walking around? That would be so cool.
I imagine there's probably at least one moving about somewhere.
Awesome.
I need a belt of cloud giant strength or whatever.
You have a potion.
You do have a potion.
Yeah, I do have the potion.
But no, none of them have a belt that they would be able to give you. That's something that takes a super long time to craft.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm sure Liam spent some time like bouncing around a room, running up walls, trying to pester one of the giants for a little while.
And he throws you off his castle.
I doubt that. I actually think this is a great place to end things for this evening. We're going to start off next session with your group being teleported towards the great city, meeting the contact, and then trying to get in. So it should be some fun. We'll see what happens.
It's gonna be butthole clenching nervousness, what you're saying. Yeah, I got you.
Absolutely.
It's only the most important thing we've done the whole fucking campaign so far, and then the next thing after that's the most important thing, then the next thing after that's the most important thing.
Yep.
Crazy
Clench
how that
up.
works, right? But thank you to everyone who watched this evening. We very much appreciate you tuning in and hanging out with us. Come back next Monday to see how the Faab Five managed to get into the walled city of the Dreamer and start beginning this rebellion to get the doors open so that as many people as possible can survive. It'll be interesting to say the least. But on behalf of everyone here in the Faab Five and everyone in the Random Rhapsody crew, I just want to say thank you, folks. It's been a delight. So long. Good luck. And until next time, keep it fabulous, baby. Good night.
night.
Peace.